Maybe you got one of those mailers from a company called Ladder Loans saying that you were pre-qualified for a personal loan at 5.99% interest. Maybe it even said you'd get the money fast and finally get out from under your credit card debt. Well, then you applied, and instead of getting a loan, you were offered something totally different, like a debt relief program or a consolidation program that wasn't what you expected at all. Well, if that's happened to you, sadly, you're not alone, and we're gonna break all of that down in today's video. Hey, it's Justin from Ascend, and today I want to talk about ladder loans and what they really are, what people are saying about them, and how to tell whether you're being offered a true loan or just being pitched into something entirely different. Also, just a quick heads up, this video is just for informational purposes and should not be construed as any kind of legal or financial advice. Okay, so if you're in a spot where you're just not sure whether you qualify for a loan or what your best option is, we did build this free calculator that lets you compare everything in one place. We'll talk about it more in a bit, but just wanted to give you a heads up. All right, let's get into it. Here's what we know about ladder loans. On the surface, it looks like they're offering personal loans, but from what we've seen, they may actually be a marketing company. Their parent company appears to be Blue Front Financial, and that's connected to a private equity firm called FPH Capital Partners. But it's not totally clear whether Ladder Loans is directly funding loans or if they're just passing leads along to other companies. And that's why a lot of people say they applied expecting a loan and then got pitched a debt settlement program instead. Now, just so we're clear on terms, there's a huge difference between a debt consolidation loan and a debt consolidation program. With a real loan, you get money deposited into your bank account. You pay it back monthly, usually at a fixed interest rate, and if you stay current, it can actually help your credit. But with a program, usually what we're talking about is debt settlement. That means you stop paying your creditors, you fall behind, often for the next 90 to 120 days, and then a company comes in and negotiates to settle your debt for less than what you owe. Well, sometimes the settlement's a lump sum settlement, but a lot of times it's just a payment plan. So when they're negotiating, sometimes the settlements could be a lump sum, sometimes they're a settlement over like an installment period. And because you're falling behind during that time, your credit can take a serious hit. Interest and fees can rack up, and creditors could even pursue legal action. That's not at all to say it can't be a helpful option. Debt settlement can be right for some people, but it's not alone, and it's definitely not without trade-offs. The frustration comes when someone thinks they're getting one thing and then ends up getting something entirely different. So what are people actually saying about ladder loans? Well, let's look at BBB. So on the Better Business Bureau, they have a 1 out of 5 star rating. Most of the complaints are from folks who say they applied thinking they were getting a loan, but ended up being pitched a debt relief program. Some also mentioned aggressive calls and unclear communication. The Google reviews are a bit more mixed. They have a 3.3 out of 5. Some people felt supported, others said they were ghosted or that they never got a straight answer. Now, if you look at Trustpilot, Ladder Loans has a 3.6 out of 5. A few people said that the process was smooth and the reps were friendly. But others talked about high interest rates or being pushed into a completely different program than expected. So yeah, it's kind of all over the place. Some people were happy, others felt misled. But the common thread in all of the negative reviews is the same. People thought they were getting a loan, but they weren't. Now, let's talk about the cost of the programs people are actually being offered instead. So if you were pitched debt settlement, those programs usually charge between 15 and 25% of the total debt you enroll. So if you're trying to settle a $20,000 worth of debt, the fees could be around $3,000 to $5,000. And that's why we built our free calculator. It takes your real numbers, like your income and your monthly expenses, and helps you compare all of your options. Debt settlement, sure, but also things like credit counseling, debt payoff planning, and even bankruptcy. So let me take a second and explain why we built it and the heart behind this. When we started Ascend, we were seeing how confusing and stressful this whole process was for people. We've personally seen how debt can weigh on you and how easy it is to fall into something that sounds like a solution, but ends up making things worse. And honestly, a lot of companies in this space are just trying to steer people into whatever makes them the most money. It's just not okay, especially when we're talking about someone's finances and future. So we built the calculator to be the opposite. It's free. It's pressure-free. It helps you compare every major debt relief option side by side, with no email or phone required unless you actually want help. Okay, so what happens if you didn't qualify for a loan? Or you just can't get approved anywhere? Well, you still have options. One of those is a nonprofit credit counseling option. That's where you work with a nonprofit that works with the creditors to lower the interest rates and roll everything into one monthly payment. The debt stays current, so your credit doesn't take a hit like it would with debt settlement, and you can be debt-free ideally in 3 to 5 years. Another option could be like debt payoff planning with the snowball or avalanche method, but that option typically requires the ability to pay the minimums plus a little bit extra. Or if things are potentially more serious, if you're deep into collections or maybe getting sued, that's where debt settlement or bankruptcy might actually be more realistic. Okay, but my point is, there's no one-size-fits-all solution. But the calculator helps you compare everything clearly based on your actual situation, not just what someone's trying to sell you. All right, thanks for sticking with me. Let's wrap this up here. If you got a letter from Lateral Loans, the first question you may want to ask is, are they really offering you a loan, or is it something that's like a marketing funnel into something else? Some people may qualify for a loan, but if you're being offered a debt relief program instead, make sure you know what that means, what it costs, and how it compares to your alternatives. The way you can do that is by using our free calculator linked below. It should take less than 5 minutes, and it hopefully can give you clarity you need to make the right decision for your situation. Okay, and now that you've kind of got a clear understanding of how these offers work, here's a video where we walk through how debt consolidation programs work step by step. That way, you know exactly what to expect. Thank you so much for watching. If this helped, hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment down below if you maybe had an experience with Ladder Loans or a similar company. We love to hear what you're sharing, and we're always here to help. Thanks so much. Have a great day.